All right, ladies and gentlemen, lots going on up in Boston, Massachusetts today. And it's a continuing effort to keep us safe. Another foiled plot. Jonathan T. Gilliam, former Navy SEAL and FBI agent, president of U.S. Continued Services here. Always good to see you, sir. All right, so the Boston police, or the FBI, they wound up shooting this guy who was plotting along with others, and one guy was arrested to carry out this attack starting today, where they were going to attack police and behead them. The guy who got shot had a knife. You probably know the name of it.
It's like a K-bar.
Yeah, like a long knife. I mean, but first I wanted to ask you about this aspect of it. They held a press conference because there was a rumor going around that the deceased's brother said they shot him in the back while he was on the cell phone waiting for the bus to go to work. So in an unusual move, and I don't know if I like this or not, they brought in imams and Muslim representatives and representative of from the African American community, and showed them there was video of the shooting from a surveillance camera, albeit from a little far away. And they had a press conference after, and all of those people got up and said he was not shot in the back, he was not at a bus stop, so those are not true. I guess in an effort to quell the community if there was needing for that. Do you like that they show it to the video to outsiders and then have them say, no, the police, they didn't do that? I mean, is that appropriate?
I don't like that they have to do it. But the fact is, I think they did something very smart this time. They've learned from all these different things that have happened in Baltimore and New York that, they just went ahead and put it right in their face and said, this is what happened. So now they can't say anything. And, I think they saw with the brother's immediate post, which, listen, I know he lost his brother, but I think that was one of the dumbest posts I've ever seen in my life. Immediately saying he was shot in the back and that I can't breathe nonsense.
He didn't say hands up, don't shoot.
Right.
Though, yeah.
Here's a couple things that we need to concentrate on that. I think that's the first thing, the fact that they released it and they foresaw what could happen and they completely denied that. I hate the fact that that has to happen, but they did the right thing. Secondly, even if they had shot him in the back, if he's lunging towards an officer, the American public needs to realize when a law enforcement officer uses deadly force, it's not against the law to shoot somebody in the back.
If they're fleeing.
Or if he's lunging at somebody in front of him with a knife.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
It's a good shoot. You're stopping the threat. You're eliminating the threat. And that's, even if it wasn't in the back of this case, but if it was, it would have been justified.
Right, no, absolutely. And again, in some jurisdictions, a fleeing felon scenario where it's also allowable. It goes to the shot an unarmed man. Well, again, the cops never know they're unarmed until they get them.
In this case, evidently, they did know that he was armed.
They've been. Now, here's another thing. They've been following this guy. What does 24/7 for 2 years mean? I mean, they had someone or more than one constantly following this guy around. Is that what that means?
Well, I can't, a lot of this I can't go into because I was actually on a surveillance team for over a year in the FBI, and I was a part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. So,
but if you're going to do that, this is a big suspect.
Right. What I can tell you is that they have ways of keeping up with somebody. I don't know the level of surveillance that they were doing. Were they following him 24 hours for 2 years?
That's
a long time to follow somebody for that long. With that much coverage, because I'll just tell you this, you can't, one person, two people, even two people can't follow you everywhere you go. As soon as you walk outside into Bryant Park, they're going to lose you. So it takes a great amount of manpower to follow any one of these individuals.
Even though I got my name on the back of everything.
Even though the Malzberg.
The Malzberg guy.
But that's the case. It's huge manpower, exhaustive in manpower to follow somebody like this. But there's other ways that they may have been looking at surveillance, with the phones, with the internet, and which leads me to one thing I have to clear up for everybody. These planes and that they're reporting on in the press about
the bomb threats.
The planes at the FBI, and they say they have fake businesses and they have this fleet of surveillance planes.
Yeah.
That's 35 years old, and the reality of that is, that is no different than when the cops send up their helicopter to follow some perp. It's not like they're spying on Americans. This might have been one of those cases where they use that type of it. It's another tool in the toolbox.
You bring something up. I don't want to throw you a curve. We got a minute left. The NTSB investigation into the Amtrak thing. The guy said, the head of the investigation testified to Congress yesterday, and they're still checking his cell phone records to see if he was in fact on the phone or texting during the crash. Doesn't that take like a minute, not 2 months?
With texts, it may take longer because texts aren't kept like phone records. So in order to get those records, there may be a little bit more work that's done.
Right.
And we're not talking about the NSA, we're talking about the phone company.
Right, right.
Which, listen, is a good example of the problem with giving all this information back to the phone company because they don't have the ability to go and scrub it immediately.
All right, but phone calls, you could. I mean, I used to get a cell phone bill. I remember when they first came out, they used to list every call and time and duration.
That's toll records. That's easy, and that's the main thing that people are upset with the NSA. But
crazy. All right, great seeing you.
Good seeing you.
The great Jonathan T. Gilliam, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, another great man, Stephen Moore, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, will join us. We'll talk about the floundering economy. Don't go away.